Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So this is a story I've been wanting to get to for a while. It came out coming up to a week, maybe 2 weeks ago now, right? It's all about a proposed crossover between Star Trek and Doctor Who in the Russell T Davies years. Now, I did know about one they were trying to get done in the Moffat years, but I didn't know about the Russell. I think they started talking about it vaguely, about, just imagine, right? And they trying to put it together. But now I'm really fascinated to find out more. They did eventually do one in comic book form, which was really not very good, which we might well talk about in this video. Basically, it depends how long this is going to take, right, to go over this article, which I am generally fascinated in. I rewatched, what was it, episode 9 of Strange New Worlds last night. I mean, like, that's kind of something I put on when I'm looking for something to watch for a few minutes before I get tired and go to bed. I don't really care if I see the whole thing or not. I really like Strange New Worlds, right? And the more I watch it, the more I realize I like it. You know why I like it? It's the first time I've seen, in a long time, I've seen a Star Trek starship that I would like to be on. I would like to be on Pike's Enterprise as represented in Strange New Worlds. Now, listen, if you're somebody that Star Trek canon is important to, which honestly, it's important to me to a certain extent. But this doesn't fit in canon. Absolutely, I agree with you. You know, it's somebody's take on Star Trek, but I quite like it, right? It's episodic, but that's basically it. I like that Enterprise. I know I have no desire to be on Discovery. I would shoot myself on Discovery. I mean, like, I guess I would have to be gay, right? Otherwise, they'll throw me out of an airlock. I mean, look, I'm a white male. I have to suck a cock to be on Discovery. I don't really want to suck any cocks. It's just not really my thing. If you like sucking cocks, God bless you, right? Although, you know, the good Lord does look down on such things. It's not for me to judge. I didn't write the Bible. It's just in there. I just thought of that as I said, God bless you. But God bless you. Look, God love everybody. Cock sucking or not. Yeah. And that is genuinely my worldview, right? But for that reason, I do not want to be on Discovery. I do not want to go on Discovery. Also, I think I would jump out of an airlock pretty darn quick. I don't want to be in lower decks. God, that looks awful. Don't want to be in Picard. Why? I won't be in a starship. I'll be with like that weird crack whore friend he had. And the thing that annoyed me about Picard, the second season, they did Star Trek for an episode, right? One episode of season 2, it was Star Trek. I was like, I like Star Trek. And it's over. right. So no, I wouldn't like behind any of those. And so, yeah, you really got to go back to Enterprise, really, before you get a starship that seems like it will be fun to be on, right? So that's what I like into Strange New Worlds. I kind of like Pike's slow burn, you know, like, what was it, like soft boiled command. I honestly, again, this isn't a review for Strange New Worlds, so just an aside. I did like in that last episode how they compared and contrasted the Pike and the Kirk Enterprises, even though the guy who played Kirk, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, the guy who played Kirk does look like Jim Carrey's impersonation of him from In Living Color. Other than that, I really liked it, right? They could get rid of, Lieutenant Lesbian Latinx, or Latinx Lesbian. I'm not quite sure what she's called. It's Ortega, isn't it? It's the most basic, stupid way to do a Latino name. Let's do what we're eating. Ortega tacos, Ortega brand. Oh, call it Lieutenant Ortega. It's like calling Mr. Scott, Mr. Scott. It's a little bit on the nose, isn't it? But at least that was the 60s, and James Doohan was quite charming, right? So, you know, where Lieutenant Lesbian Latinx is not charming at all. Anyway, I digress. This is not about that. This is, imagine in the dim mist of the past, I think in the 2005 to 2010, they were going to do a Star Trek crossover. I guess it'll be with Enterprise. What would that be? Before we get into it, like, share, subscribe, comment. All those things are fan-freaking-tastic. Thank you very much. I am very, very grateful. I'm getting closer. YouTube are such bitches. I mean, thank you for the platform, but really, Really, I can see my channel being throttled, right? I can see you algorithmically turning the dial against me. It's like, I'm not imagining it. I see the math, right? Oh, so annoying. So if you can hit the subscribe button, that does help me, and it confuses YouTube. They're like, you don't want to subscribe for him. He's a garbage person on the wrong side of history. God, you know, the last people who said that were in fact the National Socialists from Germany in the 1930s. But never mind. You know, they have basically the same worldview, don't they, the people who say that? Anyway, I digress. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all those things are good. Let me know what you think. Sign up my Substack, sign up my paid Substack. Oh, yeah, my Substack. I've just got a treasure trove of the 1980s Dan Dare. So I'm going to start putting that on my free Substack. It's free, okay? It's free. If you want to be nice, sign up my paid one as well. It gives you the opportunity to throw me a few digital coppers. I will not stop you doing that, right? I am not above dancing for well, I am. I'm not a very good dancer, but I, a couple of pennies. I'll do pretty much anything you want. I guess that's the way to get me to suck a cock. I never know. I don't know how much. No, there's no amount of money that'll make me go, oh, yeah, I want to go. I really don't want to suck a cock, okay? I don't want to condemn you for sucking cocks. You're fine to suck cocks, not me, mate, okay? Live and let live. Let's live with our differences. My difference is my mouth is a cock-free zone. Also, my arsehole too, quite frankly. Both are cock-free zones. Generally speaking, my arsehole is any kind of implement going. It's an outie. How can I say it? It doesn't like. It's not an entrance. It's only an exit, right? My wife keeps saying you need to go for a prostate exam. I said no, I don't, mate. She said what if you get bowel cancer and die? I'm like, well, at least I'll die unsullied. Okay. I guess I'll choke on my words when I'm in hospital dying of bowel cancer. I hope that doesn't happen. Right? I really hope that doesn't happen. I hope you subscribe to my channel as well. Okay, so we got over my hopes and fears. Let's talk about Rusty Davis's take on Star Trek meeting Doctor Who. Doctor Who. There, doink. All we know about Rusty Davis, unmade Star Trek and Doctor Who crossover. So when did Enterprise finish? Right? Let's have a quick look. We'll do Star Trek Enterprise. I mean, didn't they miss each other? It was from... it finished in 2005, right? In May as Doctor Who started. I guess they could have done a special or something. Let's see what they're talking about, right? According to Rusty Davis, there were talks about a Star Trek Doctor Who crossover, but what would it be about and why didn't it happen? I think because Star Trek ended, I think. But no, they were talking about doing another season of Enterprise, right? They're supposed to give it the secondary hull and do the Romulan War, right? It was season 6 or something. Oh God, that last episode was garbage. But yeah, they were talking about continuing. Doctor Who showrunner Rusty Davis has shared that a crossover episode with Star Trek nearly happened. It's really sad it didn't. But what would have been special about it had it progressed beyond discussion? Davis admits it's one of his biggest regrets working on Doctor Who not to be able to make the crossover happen. Oh, Russell, mate! Russell, go on, get on to Don't Do Discovery. Please, don't go on Discovery. Strange New Worlds, okay? Strange New Worlds, okay? Get Shooty on Strange New Worlds. Yes! That'll be freaking awesome beyond awesome. Make it happen. Star Trek and Doctor Who are compatible sci-fi properties, so Davis' idea for their inception is still, it can still plausibly happen. Well, again, it did in comic book form very badly. Doctor Who first in 63 when Hartnell playing the first variation on the iconic time traveler, iconic Time Lord called the Doctor, now suffering a 16-year... the show suffered a 16-year hiatus during which Paul McGann took up the role of Doctor for a poorly received movie. No! Off! We loved it! It did very well. In England, it got 9 million? It did incredibly well. That's such revisionist history. That happened in real time. I remember them saying, well, it didn't really go down very well on the BBC. Yes, it did! 9 bloody million! Oh, man. I guess that's one of the first times we saw facts being blatantly lied about to our face, right? To screw us over. Oh, yes. They must have been able to know what was coming 20 years in the future. But it was successfully revived with Christopher Eccleston playing the Ninth Doctor in 2005. Rusty Davis served as head executive from seasons 1 to 4. He is slated to return to Doctor in 2023 for and also reclaim the showrunner seat from Chris Chibnall for the sci-fi show's 14th season. Okay, fine. Bit of background. The Star Trek series was airing on UPN from 2001, 2005. So it's 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004. Okay, we're talking about sixth season was Enterprise, starring Scott Bakula as Captain Archer of the Enterprise NX-01. Right. Okay. And I have to say, I see the trailer for the new Quantum Leap, which is like, "Hi, I'm an Asian person. Oh, look at me. Asian people can be people too." It's a bit weird because I never thought Asian people can't be people too, right? I mean, look, there is a lot of Asian hate going on, especially in America. A lot of Asian hate crimes as well. But basically, and I forgive me if I get the statistics wrong. It's basically about 98%, or maybe even 99% of Asian hate crimes are black people attacking Asian people because they think that Asian people have it better than them because they do better in school, right? And because they kind of been told that by Maxine Waters and other, black leaders. It's but that's the reason for and they try to blame it on Trump because he said Kung flu. Or was it? No, he called it COVID. He said it came from China. The lab leak in China. And it was like, "Oh, you racist scum. Oh, you racist scum. How dare you say the Wuhan lab, the Wuhan coronavirus lab. Oh, yeah, the Wuhan coronavirus lab is where the Wuhan coronavirus came from. No, you're a racist because it really came from 200 miles away where they came with bats. Oh, yes, totally." That's the crazy things that we live in, right? This is the crazy, strange world that we do currently exist in. Where was it? Hang on a second. Doctor and Star Trek share a history of airing since the 1960s. Crossover potential between two sci-fis has heavily been scuffed with fan circles and creators. Several crossover comics have been published, all of them awful. Starting with Star Trek Next Generation crossover, Doctor Who, and then Assimilation 2 released by IDW in 2012. However, a televised crossover between Star Trek and Doctor Who had not only been theorized but confirmed in 2009 by Rusty Davis to be a project that nearly went in production. When David asked by the Times of London, what's the Times of London? You mean the London Times? The Times, right? What he wished he'd done during his time as Doctor Who showrunner that he never got to do. He explained his hope for an epic sci-fi collaboration. Oh, is this going to happen? Is this coming in 2023? Or 2024, I think more like. I would love to have done a Star Trek crossover. The very first year we talked about it. Then Star Trek finally went off air. Landing the TARDIS on board the Enterprise would have been magnificent. Yes, it would have been. Can you imagine what the script department would have wanted? And what I would have wanted? It would have been the biggest battle. Their script department, I'll be interested. What would they wanted? The first regret that came to Davis's mind was the unmade Star Trek Doctor Who crossover, proving how close the episode came to existing. Well, it doesn't sound that close right now. According to Rusty Davis's statement, the only obstacle between him and his goal was Star Trek Enterprise getting cancelled for it after its fourth and final season. Yes, I think it was the fifth season, wasn't it? No, the fifth season was supposed to, again, Romulan War, right? Yeah. The only obstacle with me being a millionaire is having $1 million. That's the only obstacle, right? Only one whatsoever. Maybe I can identify as a millionaire, right? Or a billionaire, right? I could go into any hotel. I said, I want the suite, please. I said, the presidential suite. Yeah, thank you very much. I identify as a billionaire, so I'm just going to walk in there now and we'll take care of it. Please let me know when my plane to Peterfile Island is ready. Why can't we do that? That should be fine. There should be. I was going to say there should be some kind of hidden camera show where somebody does things like that, but you can't because the one thing the people who believe that sort of like self-definition weirdness can't stand is having the piss taken out of them. They hate that. They really do. Keeping concerns about the battling script departments in mind, perhaps this project being stopped dead in its tracks early on remains the best outcome. Davis mentioned the TARDIS landing in the Enterprise. Well, what would the crossover generally entail? The 10th Doctor would have to run into Jonathan Archer's Enterprise. Yes, yeah, exactly. Russell T. Davies was actually considering a Star Trek Doctor Who crossover up until Enterprise cancellation 2005. Since Eccleston's era came to an end the same year, this means the project would have starred David Tennant and paired with original companion Rose. I think if they did it, it would have been more likely to be a Christmas special, right? I think it would have been much more likely to be something like that. And I think it probably would have been without Rose, right? I think, wouldn't it be great if he got, like, I don't know, an ensign from Star Trek to be his companion for the episode, right? They did those, like, one-off companions. You get a big star to do it. Again, they did that for those one-off companions. Or if negotiations dragged out Martha or Donna. Again, I think it would have been a special. Davis has already said the TARDIS should appear on the British Enterprise, which implies Archer's crew might not trust the charming yet chatty alien. Well, that episode with Matt Frewer was basically that thing, right? Max Headroom was basically that, and that was written by Robin Williams. But can you move over? The Enterprise does not move for anyone. No, just you personally, Mr. Picard. As he beams over. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go and watch it. It's on Netflix. And why? Why is Deep Space Nine not in HD? Really? Come on. Come along, Pond. That's like the Doctor could do. Davis had already said the TARDIS should appear on the British Enterprise. The Federation Archer's crew might not be, but this implies Archer's crew might not trust the charmy chatting alien. The Federation doesn't exist yet in Enterprise, and Jonathan Archer and his crew are new to space and the alien communication. They met plenty! By that time, by season 4, season 5, they met plenty. Season 4 was the best. As Doctor Who had glimpsed into the future of Earth before, and there had been no mention of Federation, Star Trek Enterprise and Doctor Who crossover might use the logic of parallel universe. Well, that's what you're going to have to do. Star Trek is airing again with illustrious franchise with the CBS. Is greatly successful, CBS, which includes a greatly successful Star Trek Picard. That's not greatly successful. Strange New Worlds is the only thing that's successful out of all of them. I mean, it depends how you define success. If they get to be made and everybody gets paid, they're all hugely successful, right? If they get to be made and everybody gets paid without having any viewership, that's insanely successful. So maybe it is successful. Well, Russell T. Davies returning to the helm at season 14, the unmade crossover, that could happen. I could really, really see that happening. Wouldn't that be awesome? Oh, just imagine. What we're imagining. Let's have a look at the top 10 best Doctor Who crossovers over here and on Screen Rant. Not Screen Rant, What Culture. The Doctor meets the Doctor. When the Doctor meets the Doctor, odds are seriously wibbly wobbly, timey wimey makes it happen. Well, that's not a crossover. That's a multi-Doctor story. That's not a crossover. What Culture? I may have to take the piss out of you for this. Okay, this might happen. Doctor is one of the most successful science fiction franchises ever made, and over the course of its 50 plus, blah 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 blah. Fine, let's go to. Fine, the Star Trek Next Generation, Doctor Who Assimilation 2. This is garbage, right? The artwork isn't very good, and the writing is abysmal, right? The writing is genuinely abysmal. Okay, if you're right, it's, I think, by Tipton, I think, is the name of the writer. There's like 3 writers. And you can tell a badly written comic if the characters are like kneeling down, crouching down, so there's room for their massive speech balloons. You know, it's got to be organic, right? It's got to. It's got, you know, a comic should flow, right? And if you've got these big speeches in that don't sound right for the characters, then it's wrong. And you. Having these massive speech balloons with these big speeches That's not the way to write a comic, right? Comics need to flow, and you slow it down. In this 8-issue miniseries, the 11th Doctor, Amy Pond, and Rory encounter the crew of the Starship Enterprise D. The crossover takes place between the Next Generation episode, The Outcast, and Coulson Effect. Okay, so that's relatively early on, season 2, I think, or maybe season 3. When the Doctor lands on TARDIS ship in holodeck, a Federation planet was under attack by the Borg and Cybermen forces combined. As soon as the Doctor crossed into the Star Trek universe, he finds he's suddenly inundated with memories of the Fourth Doctor's previous adventure with Captain Kirk as they battled an early generation of Cybermen. That was good. It was like issue 3 or 4, right? That was the only good bit of it. They did a flashback episode where he had Tom Baker's Doctor with Captain Kirk fighting, what was it? Revenge of the Cybermen. The Doctor and Jean-Luc Picard meet one another again and soon discover the alliance between their two most ruthless enemies. It isn't long before they agree to work together to defeat the alliance, but the Cybermen have other plans. Almost immediately, the Cybermen unsurprisingly turn on the Borg, and which sends them to Picard for help, which he reluctantly provides. The Enterprise outfits its weapons with gold, since the Cybermen are susceptible to it. At the same time, the Doctor travels to the past to gather a vital piece of Borg technology. Together, the Doctor and Picard manage to defeat the Cybermen. It's awful. Avoid. That's a real, genuine avoid. It's not very good at all. Stolen Earth and Journey's End. That's not a crossover! I mean, no, I take that back. That is a massive crossover, but it's a crossover in the Doctor Who universe, right? This was Doctor Who doing the Avengers before the Avengers. Doctor Who 750 episode. Was it 750 episode? I didn't know that. Kicked off with a two-part crossover story. Kicked off. It was like the end of their run. Featuring all the characters on Torchwood and Sarah Jane. Fine, I take it back. This is a crossover. Stolen Earth and Journey's End closed out the full series, as well as several dangling plot threads from early episodes. I don't remember, but I believe you, right? I believe you. Crossover begins when Earth and 26 other planets are stolen by the Daleks. With Davros's help, the Doctor... they brought Davros back for that. It was huge. I really recommend, even though it's co-written by Benjamin Cook, who is, as we say in rabbinical circles, a douchebag. It's still very, very good, right? So I read Rusty Davis' initial pitches for this story. It was like, and Davros in big letters he wrote at the end when he's like talking about what's going to happen. With Davros, the Doctor and Donna try to locate the missing Earth as they are contacted by Captain Jack Harkness, Martha Jones, Sarah Jane Smith, and Rose Tyler, all with the hope of mounting a defense against the Daleks. It was awesome. Okay, it's still awesome. I mean, it only got more awesome during the lockdowns when we did the watch along, and what was the name? John Barrymore was literally crying on Twitter saying how awesome it was. It was awesome. Right, the dragging Earth back with all everybody around the TARDIS. You can't see. I got the character options TARDIS up there, right? Where I'm pointing up there, right? And I printed extra walls for it to make it like more 360. You know, it's the Tennant TARDIS. But all around them, we got Donna, the Doctor, Sarah Jane, Captain Jack. Martha and Rose, right? They're all around. Because it's one of my favourite sequences in Doctor Who ever. I love the music. It was all fantastic, right? Everything about it was fantastic. Fortunately, he was able to divert the he begins regenerating it. Best cliffhanger ever. Absolutely. Fortunately, he was able to divert the regeneration entering a 7-hand, halting the process. Doing this helped Donna healing completely without requiring to change it into a new Doctor. Later on, they did say that was a full regeneration. He kind of regenerated into himself. Okay. The episode features Donna's final regular appearance, but that only comes after she absorbs some of the regeneration energy, which gives her the Doctor's mental abilities, making her the Doctor Donna. The strain ultimately requires the Doctor to have memory stripped from her. I do hope they're going to fix that in the 60th, right? Why is Doctor and Donna back? I don't know. But I do hope they're going to fix that. And I do think they will, right? I think he's always been bothered by that. The event also created the entirely human clone of the Doctor. It wasn't entirely human, was it? From his hand, which occurred when Donna touched the hand at the end of the episode. The Doctor went off and enjoyed it happily ever after with Rose in an alternate dimension. I agree with you. The Lost Dimension, I didn't really like this either. And again, I don't really call this a crossover. It's just Doctors, right? Just Doctor. I mean, it's good, but it just, this is just cashing in. This is not a crossover. Will you stop? Now I'm annoyed with this, right? The Lost Dimension is an epic crossover graphic novel series published by Titan in 2018. The story involves every incarnation of the Doctor and his friends as they battle. I thought it was just the 4 of them. They got, all 12, all 13? As they battle old enemies and new villains as they face off on a new terror, the Void. The comic features the return of Jenny, the Doctor's long-lost daughter, who was cloned from... Okay, I didn't know that. From where he went off. She's back, and she has a terrifying message with the 12th Doctor, Nardole and Bill. The empty space between the universes, otherwise known as a void, is awake and it's looking to for a universe to eat. Well, that doesn't sound like good news. The void threatens every one of the Doctor's incarnations, and the most recent find themselves in a strange, impossible situation. The 9th Doctor re-encounters a slurring detective and leader of the Paternoster gang, Madame Vastra. The 10th faces off against the cybernetic foes on a faraway space station, and the 11th travels beyond the universe to find the civilization's ancient past. The comic takes everything Doctor Who has done, has gone up against in the past, and throws in a mix an exciting adventure. The Lost Dimension is broken down in 2 volumes, and makes a great read. Okay, you might have talked me into buying that, right? I might give that a go, right? Okay, no! With a little help from my friends. Excuse me. Jodie Whittaker is just the worst thing ever in terms of sales for Doctor Who, because she's very bad at it. Okay. You know when people are lying, okay? When you know people are lying to themselves more than anything else, when they scream, when it's hysteria, right? So they scream, he don't like her, you're a bigot! Because she's awful, right? That's awful. I mean, I could be... listen, I'm not going to say I'm not a scientist. I'm not a gender scientist, so I certainly couldn't speak with any authority. But it seems to be the screaming about transgenderism may be the same thing. I don't know. But the more people scream, the less I believe them, generally speaking. The 13th Doctor first crossover didn't come in the form of an episode. Instead, it dropped in a new series on Titan called Doctor Who the 13th Doctor Season 2. Yeah, look, it's because she couldn't sell any bloody comics. I mean, that's why. And that's been the go-to thing. To sell anything with Jodie Whittaker in it, you've got to put David Tennant in it, right? Otherwise, it doesn't sell, right? That's basically the bottom line. No matter how stunning and brave you think she is, she just doesn't sell. Not only does the 13th Doctor come into conflict with her past self, but she does it during one of the 10th's greatest adventures, during Blink. The 10th Doctor and Martha were stuck in 1969 thanks to a weeping angel, but their adventure wasn't shown in great detail because that episode with Little Alpha demonstrates that in the 1960s wasn't their time in the 60s was quite the adventure. The 13th Doctor, Yaz and Graham and Ryan make their way to New York in 69. They check out Woodstock, but the TARDIS had other ideas. Instead, they end up in London where they find the 10th Doctor, Martha. The two team up, work together. So why don't you just give it a lift to where the TARDIS... Okay, the first 4 issues of the crossover cover, the time travel shenanigans brought the 13th and 10th Doctor together and make a wonderful continuation of 13th Doctor adventures. The book also delves deeper into companions' personalities. What personalities? Yaz? Yeah, I'm a plank of wood. Very good. More than's been revealed on the show. Well, listen, you couldn't reveal any less. Dimension and Time. Okay, I'm going to call that a crossover. EastEnders meets Doctor Who. Pickled in time, like gherkins in a jar. It's so awful. It is just so awful. No, look, it's on YouTube. Who'd have thought? Dimension and Time was a two-part story. Not really, it's like 2 5-minute stories. Broadcast in 1993, making it the first since 85's revelation of the Daleks. There was a 2-part story! The program was created to mark the 30th anniversary of Doctor Who, a little bit, and it was used to raise money for the charity appeal organisation called Children in Need. I remember Doctor Who Bulletin, the fanzine that run by Gary Levine. Was it Gary Levine? I think so, or maybe not. Anyway, he used to be the fan advisor to the to the John Nathan Turner years, and then he ended up hating him, and he wrote this magazine. Basically, everything. John Nathan must go, right? And they didn't know how much he wanted to. But what can I tell you? But I remember when this came out, the review of it was they had a cartoon of the Rani and John Nathan Turner, I think I remember. But anyway, they said someone's holding a thing saying "children in need" and had children crossed out, and it said "adults without a clue in need." It didn't go down well, because it wasn't awfully good. One of the show's main narrative feature incorporated crossover with Doctor Who and EastEnders, effectively placing them in the same universe. The Third Doctor and the Seventh Doctor are all present as companions. Actually, I kind of liked it, right? And the companions multiply 2 by 2. I think Mike Reed really got into it, where somebody goes past the Queen Vic and the monster drags them in, and his line is, "I've seen people have been kicked out the Queen Vic before." I just thought it was kind of fun. I guess, like when Doctor Who's being made and is successful, this kind of fun frivolity is a bit of a laugh. When it's a dead and smoking, twisting wreck, a bit more depressing, right? A little bit more depressing. Third and Doctor were present along with the companion. The first and second Doctors were also used to include pictures of very bad models. But they were sort of by Sue Moore, who did the Destroyer from Battlefield. So they knew what they're doing. They also did that great face melting thing with Kane from Dragonfire. This just didn't really work very well. The first and second were pictures. They were models. Due to the death of William Hartnell and Patrick Troughton, the plot revolved around the Rana's attempt to create imaginary of living creatures in space and time in the Queen Vic. For some apparent reason, I don't know. Because she knows the Doctor will attempt to stop her, she acquires a human. He places him in a temporal time loop, which ensnares all the Doctors in past incarnations. I did like, again, the you had what's the name? Young Pauline Fowler and Kathy Bill from the 70s with the Third Doctor. What made the program unique was the plot was affected by fans. They could cast a vote to determine which of the two EastEnders characters would help the Doctor in the end. Mandy Salter won over Big Ron. I thought Big Ron won with 53% of the vote. Okay, well done. Pickled in time, like gherkins in a jar. The two Doctors, again, that's really not a crossover. That's a multi-Doctor story. You're taking the piss. I mean, I liked it. I recently saw it on the season, season 22 Blu-ray set. It's really weird because it's like it's got that dark 1980s violence, like lots of it, and Patrick Troughton kind of just fits into it, and Fraser Hines. It's really strange, and I still don't understand why somebody didn't write some kind of line to say that Jamie had been devolved by some kind of Sontaran weapon, and that's why he was trying to either eat or hump Perry. My guess will be the humping. Yeah, actually, this leads me to another thought, right? Nicola Bryant on the same Blu-ray box set said when she went to the BBC in the 80s, one time out of three when she went in, so she'll feel somebody's hand on her ass as she went through the door. And she was supposed to like turn around and kind of smile and say thank you for it. And like that seems weird. I just think that seems so wrong. But now I'm thinking of her in her Two Doctors outfit, and her ass is somewhat magnificent in that. Look, what can I tell you, Nicola? You're a pretty woman. What can I tell you? While not a typical Doctor crosses paths with the former self or future incarnation, it's usually done to say to save someone or something from total destruction. It's really to do with the Doctor himself, but that's exactly what Two Doctors is about. As the sixth and the second Doctor, the sixth Doctor has to save the second Doctor to ensure his continued existence. In this story, the second Doctor is on a mission given to him by the Time Lords to meet Dastari. It fits very nicely in the Big Finish Beyond the Wargame set now, right? The head of project in the station, Dastari, is on the verge of discovering the secrets of time travel, but the experiment could destroy the fabric of time itself. Right? The Sontarans attack, but the Doctor is killed, which brings the tale to the Sixth Doctor, who has a member of the Second Doctor dying. To ensure that doesn't happen, he contacts Dastari that things don't go as planned. Ultimately, the Sixth Doctor finds the second incarnation, and two work together to stop the alien species of Sontarans from stealing Time Lord secrets. No, not stealing secrets, from working them out themselves. If the Sixth Doctor fails, he will cease to exist. He will cease to exist. So the two Doctors do everything they can to save time and themselves. Right, two Doctors. Look, I enjoy it, right? Five Doctors! I think this is my favourite multi-Doctor story. We're not in crossover territory anymore, though. Will you stop? For Doctor Who's 20th anniversary, the BBC released a special feature-length episode called The Five Doctors. Richard Lundell played the first Doctor, Patrick Troughton and John Pertwee back to play the second and third. Peter Davison played the fifth. Tom Baker appeared in the Shouder footage and as a waxwork, right? Because he just quit. I can understand him not wanting to go back. When an unknown enemy uses a time scoop, which changed depending on the incarnations you used. You had the original one was a bad triangle, right? A bad BBC computer triangle. Remember BBC computers? They were kind of fun. Then when they updated, it looked like a swirl of ice cream. Can we bring back the triangle again, but just make it look better? Okay, I like the triangle. Fine. They yanked out their respective time streams into the Death Zone on the Time Lord's homeworld Gallifrey. In addition, the Doctor, Susan Foreman, Sarah Jane Smith, the Brigadier, all arrive, as do the Dalek Cyberman and the Yeti, and a Rastan warrior robot. They move like lightning. Greased lightning, Sarah Jane. I think my delivery was somewhat better. The Fifth Doctor senses a disruption in his time stream, and he travelled to the Death Zone to find himself. Well, people have to go to find themselves. The Doctor and all the respective companions are forced to contend with the Master, the Dalek Cyberman, and more. Yeah, look, but this was just frothy. It was fun. It was one of the few times they just threw everything at it, and it all just worked. As they move closer and closer to the tomb of Rassilon, the secret of who brought them to get here and why begins to unfold as all five Doctors and their companions have to work together to uncover the mystery and save themselves from certain destruction at the hands of the unforeseen enemy. Who's Barusa? I mean, like, really, it's 40 years old. I think we can say it's spoiler-free now. The three Doctors, or the two Doctors and one in a bath chair in a Perspex pyramid. Honestly, if he was so ill, why did they make him hunch in that glass Perspex? Couldn't he be in somewhere a little bit more comfortable? Like a nice sedan chair, maybe? When the 10th season kicked off in 1973, the special broadcast of the 4 weekly parts of the special featured the first three incarnations. Yeah, it was kind of obvious they had to do it. William Hartnell, Patrick Troughton, and John Pertwee. In the special, the solar engineers, Omega, now played by Brian Blessed. I really got to try and check that out. Who was the creator of the experiments that gave the Time Lords their ability to travel in time, through time, seek revenge, and the Time Lord Omega is left for dead in a universe composed entirely of antimatter, and it's up to the Doctors to stop him. The Time Lord, the Time Lords recruit the Doctor from 3 separate time streams when Omen begins to drain time from the Time Lords. Look, this is I just find all kind of pre-Deadly Assassin Gallifrey stories a bit naff, right? I like it post-Deadly Assassin, but that's just me for you. When Omen begins to drain Time Lords, the Doctor up in the nick of time. The 3 Doctor was the first crossover to feature the Doctor's previous incarnations. And again, this isn't really a crossover. Like, the crossover is Doctor Who on the buses, right? It's widely considered to be one of the greatest crossovers episodes ever. It was novelized a couple of years after the show premiered. It helped flesh out some more of the detail. Okay. Time Crash. Well, okay, this is more, I don't know. I call this more of a crossover because it's more of like you're stepping out your comfort zone a little bit. It's a little bit silly. Time Crash, where he nicely explained how Peter Davison was older. Time Crash was a short that took place after the events of the last of the Time Lords. The TARDIS spun out control, and an alarm sounds. The 10th Doctor heads to the control panel to check it out. While he's doing that, he's crossed by the 5th Doctor doing the same thing, and the two have a "you're not supposed to be here" moment. It was lovely. Okay, this one is genuinely lovely. Ultimately, the 10th Doctor inherently knows how to fix a problem that caused their TARDIS to bring them together. He knows this because he remembered watching himself fix a problem when it was the 5th Doctor. It's a bunch of wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff, but it's hilarious. The short was only a couple of minutes long, but it worked on so many levels. There's so much more going on than Time Crash meets the eye, and it has to do with the 2 actors' relationship with one another. Most ardent fans know that David Tennant is married to Georgia Tennant. Well, obviously Georgia Tennant now, because there was Georgia Moffat. Yeah, that's her name. She's married to him. Of course, her main name was Moffat, which makes her Peter Davison, born Peter Malcolm Gordon Moffat. Her father, the scene has 2 Doctors, the 10th and the 5th, but more than that is the son-in-law and father-in-law. But there's more than that. It's more like David Tennant gushing how much he loved the 5th Doctor, right? A bit like Peter Davison. It really is. There is a perfect sort of surgery that makes Doctor Who the wonderful series it is. I do tend to agree, right? I do tend to agree. And the Day of the Doctor, I love Day of the Doctor, right? I mean, I like the last 5 minutes of it the best, right? When they're all together, Dr. Gully, the Walkhouse, yeah, that was wonderful, okay? I love that. I did love it. Continuing the BBC's tradition of releasing a special crossover episodes commemorating Doctor Who's anniversary dates. The 5th anniversary celebration came in the form of the Day of the Doctor. The special simulcast in 94 countries, which earned its Guinness World Records and several other awards. The 77-minute special featured the 10th and 11th Doctor meeting, but they weren't alone. So I've seen this in 3D, but I've had to put my PlayStation VR on, so it's not very convenient, right? But it's kind of cool in 3D. That first bit when they're you see the Dalek War and things flying out, that's all pretty, and at the end is also pretty cool. But it's just wearing that big headset, right? It's not good to watch a whole movie in it. The episode dealt with the final days of the Time War, the destruction of Gallifrey, and the end of the Time Lords and Daleks. It's a period of the Doctor never talks about due to the incarnation he hoped to forget. Yeah, but I love that oftentimes when there's a problem, it just makes things get better. In my opinion, so Christopher Eccleston didn't want to come back. Stephen Moffat said, I could have talked him into it, but I didn't want to, because he just didn't want to do it, right? And he felt he was on the edge. So, but I love that they invented the War Doctor. I love what Big Finish has done with them. I think Jonathan Carter's take on it is just breathtaking. Strong recommend it if you haven't heard that stuff. I really, really think you should check it out. John Hurt showed up as the War Doctor, and it was up to him to deliver the moment, a weapon capable of destroying both races of the Time War. Billy Piper returned as a manifestation of the weapon, and Tom Baker appeared as well, though he wasn't explicitly revealed to be the Fourth Doctor. He's not! It was the curator, whatever that may be, whoever that may be. The episode was also created as a love letter to the fans. It's precisely what it was. I also, the trailer, right? That 3D trailer from the 50th, that was wonderful, right? It kept moving through space, and you went around all the Doctors in 3 dimensions. It was very, very cool. The episode called A Love Letter to the Fans. It was precisely what it was. Managed to tie up a plethora of fan favourite loose ends and feature a plethora of fan favourite characters. Introduce the forthcoming 12th Doctor. Yes, right. No, sir, all 13. All 12. I think all 13. For the 50th anniversary special, it didn't fail to deliver, and most fans agree it was the best crossover ever made. It wasn't a crossover! Right? It wasn't a crossover. So, assuming I can find it. I'm going to put in what I think was the best crossover. It was fan-made. It was called Hulock, right? It was when, Benedict Cumberbatch meets Matt Smith's Doctor, both being big Stephen Moffat things, Sherlock and Doctor Who. That was the best crossover in my mind. I don't know. Now, thinking about it, I quite like Dimensions in Time, right? But that was absolutely gorgeous. I completely loved it. And I can find it, because if I can't, I'm not going to put it in at the end of this video. And it's just going to go right into the title. So I'm just going to say, and I'm not going to know what happens next, right? It might go into the titles. It might go into that crossover. Let's wait and see. But right now, I'm just going to say, my name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.
Welcome to the TARDIS. Hello again.
That's not right.
You okay?
What?
Because this place, sometimes it can make people feel a bit, you know.
Yeah, fine.
Well, anything you want to say? Any passing remarks? I've heard them all.
Where are we?
It's called the TARDIS. It can travel anywhere in time and space.
And it's mine.
Shut up.
I know.
Why come to me?
I need to ask you something.
Most people knock.
Am I people? Do I even look like people? Come with me.
Where?
Wherever you like.
No, I can't leave London at the moment. Far too busy.
Oh, shut up.
I have a TARDIS.
You have the machine.
It's a time machine. You can run away all you like and still be home in time for tea, so what do you say? Will you come away with me?